So a little recap of last Saturday. Obviously talked about it after the game, and able to go back and watch that thing several times, and I really like what I talked about after the game. Number one, a lot of credit to North Dakota. I think they have a really good football team, but um, I don't think that the level of play that I think that our team can have was on display in that game, and that starts in with all of us. And so football's a humbling game, and we've talked about that. Um, it's if you're not on that given Saturday ready to go execute, I don't think it's not when you guys say like ready to play. I don't question that our guys were ready to play. Um, but you got to go out there and play good football to grab some momentum. And in that game, it took a while for us to get some momentum on either side, and some of that was self-inflicted, whether it's just that attention to detail. Some of that was coaching. I felt like the first thing that I showed the guys in the team meeting where I felt like we made three critical coaching errors in that game that led to momentum for them. So one, we got to find a way to manage that 4th down and 10 with the win. If you punt it and you gain 19 yards, but just not a good thing to put that. So really, that was like a turnover um, in the game because we went backwards, I think 15 yards plus, and gave them the ball on their side of the field, which led to points. But I have control over that. We could take a delay a game, we could punt the football, a variety of things. How we ended the half was not good. And so we've got to be able to just realize that it's going to be 21-0 at halftime and go in there and know that we've got to go get a stop on defense coming out of halftime. And then I felt like, the substitution error, we felt like they subbed, which they did, but then just late in our substitution and, got a stop on 4th down, but then gave them a free first down. And those all led to points, and those are coaching errors. And so I think we challenge the group to just make sure that we're all looking internally of what in that. Sometimes winning can mask some of that stuff. Like I told them, if we found a way to come back or win, those mistakes are still out there. So we all got to grow. We got to have the mindset of growth here. Like I said after the game, I believe and know that we have a good football team, and now we've got to respond. And looking forward to that opportunity. I felt like we had a good Sunday in here as far as like our meetings and just the vibe of the group. This is a good group. Just because you have a couple hard weeks doesn't change the guys that we have in the locker room or anything like that. And all team is part of what makes really this game special, especially when you look back, is like being able to go through a couple tough weeks with the group of guys and being able to respond and find a way. That's what makes this game special, and that's what we plan to do. Looking forward to this week. I mean, Northern Iowa, number one, just storied program. I talked to the guys a lot about who we're playing at the beginning of the week, like this morning, and like I told them, if you would ask me while I was here, what's the biggest rivalry, I would have said Northern Iowa, right? Like as far as the biggest game that you really were excited to play there for a long stretch. We didn't win up there and they didn't win down here. And a lot of just memorable games against those guys. And so they've got a standard of winning up there. New coaching staff, Coach Farley, it'd be a little different not seeing him on the sidelines for a long time. We haven't played him the last 2 years. So as far as personnel, even the guys that are returning, haven't been guys that we've seen. So we just have to do a great job of, just like we do each and every week, understanding that there's going to be a ton of respect for our opponent and the preparation that it takes to go play well on Saturday. And it's homecoming. I look forward to that. Obviously, as an alumni here myself, what it means to so many different people. And we've talked about just the way we play the game. If I'm a past player and I come back, I want to see a team that plays together, plays the game the right way. Anybody that's played this game knows that. Look, we're not gonna play perfect football. It's not like that. Anybody you see that won games out there on Saturday across the country or yesterday in the NFL. There's going to be, I didn't, I don't think anybody got shut out in the NFL last yesterday. So that means that some point somebody's going to go on a drive with you. How we respond, our attitude, how we are as a teammate. I was proud of our group in the second half of that game about that and recommitting to some things. Felt like we lost our way a little bit for getting a little bit emotional, right? We talk about in this game, playing the great game with great emotion. I think that you can feed off that and it helps you, but you can't play the game emotional, and there's a difference. And so this weekend, homecoming, Jeremy Chin coming back, getting put into the Hall of Fame. Fabre Collins getting put in the Hall of Fame. Two really good players here. Obviously, Jeremy, first player that I've recruited and coached that's going into the Hall of Fame, means a lot. And just he's on his bye week and be able to come back here. And then Branson Combs, right, who played here and graduated from here, and he's on his bye week as well. I mean, shout out to Branson, made the practice squad in Jacksonville, got activated this week for the first time in his career. So his picture will be going on the wall as well. So having to you know, former graduates that we recruited here and played here meant so much to the program. Having them back on their bye weeks while they're currently playing in the NFL, and then all the alums. So excited to get out there and represent. I mean, tell our team like the main thing for us on homecoming is to win the game. And then everybody gets to have a good time. But our focus and goal is about on the game, and looking forward to a good weekend.
Thanks, Coach. Let's go ahead with questions now. Let's start with Matt.
Good morning, Nick. How are you?
What's up, Matt?
Not too much. You addressed this in your opener there, but just the slow start on Saturday. After watching the tape, was that more North Dakota doing what they want to do, or did you truly feel like it was mostly just mistakes by the Salukis?
Well, you got to always give the opponent credit. It's not like if we just you know mess something up and it was going to be easy, right? And so I don't. But yeah, I think that when you look at, we went to three and out for the first time this year on the opening drive. And didn't score on the first drive for the first time this year, and how we responded to that. Um, but yeah, there's things on those, like the first third down, we didn't execute that play correctly. Um, and we mentioned that in the post game. The second, then we got it to short yardage on both third downs, and we I think we're on third and fourth down conversion downs. I think we're top 10 in the country right now. And when you get in those third and three or shorters, those got to be even on a higher percentage. And we get to those on our first two drives and don't convert. Um, we had a run called with an RPO tag, and that we threw on third and two. And that's what I said. I mean, both of those, I think, well, you hear that a lot of times. Sometimes I probably like you guys with coach, like it starts with me. I think those two are a perfect example of where it could say, like, could we coach better leading into the game? Like, could I have said something in the headset prior to that? If I really want that to be a run, if we're giving them an option on a press, but understanding the down and distance, we got to be able to run the football right there. We took the fade, we threw it out of bounds, and we didn't get the completion. So now we got to punt again. And so even on the first one, like, do we need another back in there that had repped it more during the week? And that's on us as the coaches to make sure um, and get those guys in the right spot. Then it's up to the players to go out there and execute as well. And so, that's when we got to a tough series there. And then we go down and all the drives, we got to that fourth down, but we also went on the drive, then we turned it over. I think the most glaring thing that we have to make sure that we get fixed, and everybody in the building, if you would interview anybody, a player or coach, would know that that's just analytics or just key to winning football games is right now we've put the ball on the ground in conference play them more than anybody in the league. And so there's got to be just a mentality of cherishing that football. And right now, we're not taking the wet ball away on defense, and we're giving it up on offense, and that doesn't lead to wins, especially when you're playing two now top five teams, right? So it's the schedule. Those are really good teams. So the margin for error, even if you play a clean game, is going to be smaller. And so I think that's what we've got to look at and do a better job of.
Northern Iowa, always a tough game, as you were alluding to. They're 2-5. What are they doing well, Coach?
Well, they've played a tough. That's when you get in the league. I mean, I've said that all along. I mean, you can have a good football team, and your record doesn't show that in our league. And so, they've got beat by North Dakota. They got beat by South Dakota State, two top five teams, and they got beat by South Dakota. So, three top 25 losses. And you watch in those games, there's a lot of good football being played in those games. North Dakota, they're kind of, I think it's the second quarter, maybe it's the first quarter, their first touchdown comes on a strip sack, right? They're getting stops. They get a strip sack and score on defense and things like that. So I'm sure they're looking at those games as well. I thought they really competed well defensively at South Dakota State. That game's 14-3, I think, in the fourth quarter, going into the fourth quarter, late third quarter, where it was about two quarters in a row that there was just no scoring in that game. And then this week, I think South Dakota didn't score the last 20 minutes of the game. I know in the fourth quarter. And so they're playing good defense in our league, and so um, they're just battling. And there's a lot of good football in there, but same could be said, about us. Like when they put it on there, like, hey, for this, 20-minute stretch right here, this is high level football. But being able to consistently put it together against good teams is tough.
Are you satisfied with how your pass rush is performing right now, Coach?
Well, I mean, when you look at the stats, we got to be able to affect the quarterback more. We got to be able to, that's the other one in conference play. I think we're ninth in sacks. And so those are all things that we look back at, right? It's easy to look back and say like, okay, we're not set. So then we've got to recognize that. Do we have to create different ways to get pressure on the quarterback? Are we winning when we rush four? Are we getting stops when we rush four? If not, then we need to come after guys a little bit more. So those are all things that we got to do a good job of as a staff, is recognizing those things, challenging our players to win some one-on-one matchups. And so, short answer is no. We've got to affect the quarterback more. Sacks are huge momentum plays, and but like I've told, we're not even halfway through league play, so we've got five. We got five left, and we have an opportunity this Saturday to change some of those narratives.
And then I just wanted to get your thoughts also about Jeremy Chin. I know you mentioned him going to the hall and everything, but also named Grand Marshal of the Homecoming Parade. I know you guys will be busy getting ready for the game, but just can you talk a little bit just about just what a great honor that is for a guy that you're so close to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud. Like, um, the person that he's become, obviously the career, um, just yeah, just all around proud. I'm glad too that he feels a sense of pride and a home to come back to. And I think Saluki Nation, obviously honoring him with the Grand Marshal, allowing him and his family, his mom, his sister, to come back here, which he put so much effort and time into. There's just nothing like that, right? That there's just nothing like, having an alma mater that you have pride in and wanting to come back. And when they honor you, I mean, it'd be a special day.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Matt. Let's go to Bucky now.
Second there, done. Let me get to this.
What's up, Bucky?
Hey, Nick, how you doing this morning?
Good.
Um, Matt
You doing
stole my
good?
question about Jeremy Chin. but I was going to ask you something else that you touched on a couple minutes ago
Do you ever get
concerning.
mad when somebody else asks your question?
It depends on what kind of, you know what I'm saying? It depends on how much you had invested in said question. Like, if it's something that's going to be like this really big scoop or something, and someone beats me to it, then yeah, I probably do get a little hacked off.
So
But
you're more mad at Matt or Dom for not calling on you first? Like, do you ever leave there like these press conferences and send any text out?
did you see did you by chance watch the feature on Mike Vrabel and the relationship he had with a buddy of mine from AP in Nashville? He always let her ask the first question
Yeah,
when he was with the
I did see
Titans.
that. I did see that.
And there's another friend of mine who worked with AP in St. Louis. Tony La Russa always let him ask the first question after games to Cardinals.
Well, we need to get a woman on here to ask questions. I saw that feature about how uh she was always up front and tentative. You won't even put your picture up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We'll
you
let you
know.
answer the first or ask the first question if you put your screen on next week.
Well, I've actually worked with Teresa a lot. She's really good. So,
Good.
anyway, you touched on Northern Iowa, how big a rivalry game it has been over the years. I was going to ask you, is it weird to be facing them without Mark Farley on the sideline?
Well, I got a lot of respect for Coach Farley. I just always felt like, especially even just his teams were tough. They were tough, and there was a standard of winning, and I always felt like they just were a challenge to go against offensively. Their defense, obviously, he's a defensive minded guy. Um, just tough old school guy, right? That you knew that they were always just he had a lot of good teams. He coached a lot of years. And so, yeah, it'll be a little bit different, but we're not thinking about that during the week, right? You're watching the tape
Right.
and preparing, but you did a lot of good things there. And yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of good games that we've had here. Shoot, I think probably the last two times the last three times that we've played them have come down to the last play of the game. COVID. We scored and they went down in a the kid got a 4th and 10 on a slant, and I thought he was going to score. And then the best kicker in MVC history missed a 30-yard field goal as time expired for us to win. And then in 2021, we went down there, went on a 2-minute drive, got to the 8-yard line, had three opportunities to score, couldn't do it. And then in 2022 is when Jathan we missed the field goal, used all our timeouts, got the ball back, um, went down through the Hail Mary. Jathan scored. Everybody in the stands felt like we won, reviewed it. We didn't win. So all these games have come down to the wire. It's always been a good game.
Yeah. Matt was asking about the pass rush, and I was going to ask too, is it kind of can it be harder for a pass rush to have an effect in the game when the run defense isn't doing what you guys certainly hope it would, and putting you guys maybe into better situations, like maybe a 3rd and 9 instead of a 2nd and 3 when somebody throws to make them maybe more one-dimensional?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, last week was probably a little bit different. They only threw 15 passes. Our goal is to have over one sack every 15 dropbacks. But and I would say out of those 15 passes, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 were RPOs. So you're not going to get a pass rush on an RPO. You got to stop the
Yeah,
run on RPOs. So when you think about a game that only has, 9 true passes, and you're gonna have many opportunities. And then when we got them to third. Their first touchdown was on a 3rd and 8. They ran the ball, and so they had 2 third down pickups that they ran the ball, and so I think every game's a little bit different. But yeah, I do think that stat's not reflective on how our D line is playing. I think our D line is doing a nice job. I think they're playing tough and physical at the line of scrimmage, and all of those guys. I think when you look at Peyton and Donnie, and it's just all across the board, so many guys play up there and are doing a good job. And so now we've got to be able to find ways to finish. We've had opportunities in the last several games to finish on the quarterback, getting him down when we do get there with pressure. And so sometimes that stat isn't reflective either. You want to affect the quarterback, and but we do have to do a better job of that, and that's our job to figure that out.
Yeah. One more question. As far as the injury front, how are the guys like Sean and Andrew Bam progressing as they try to get back on the field? And
Yeah, I
where
think
are some
it's
others?
trending well. LaShawn full practice today. Andrew running on the sideline today, looking as good as he has, trending upward. Got good news on Schwindeman, that it won't be a season thing. He was also running today, which we'll get back here sooner than we maybe anticipated. I'm happy for those guys. Um, so yeah, we should get one or two of them back this week, and then but the other guys getting better.
Thanks, Nick.
All right, appreciate it.
Thanks, Bucky. Barry, you can go whenever you're ready.
Good morning, Coach. I wanted to ask you first, Ben Feigl is the guy who's made an impact for you when he's been called upon. How has Ben been able to contribute in those situations?
Yeah, I think he just since he's been in here, he's still a young player that's been just ready for his opportunity, and you can tell. I mean, like he's just going to keep getting better every week, and those older guys have done a great job. That's a great room. We've talked about that at just about every press conference, I think. So he's doing a great job. He's been called upon to take a ton of reps and play, and I think he's proven that he can play in this league. And he's such a young player. He's just going to keep getting better.
Is there a value in a young guy like that being in a position group with a lot of older guys? Colin Bohannon has played a ton. Bame has a lot of experience.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, I think anytime you're a young player, man, especially if you have a group that does things the right way on and off the field, leadership, the intensity. I mean, even just going back to the summer, right? Those guys working out together in the weight room, OTAs, like just seeing how they work and meet and the attention to detail. Like you have no choice, but because you're gonna stick out if you're not doing it that way. And so he's definitely benefited from being in that room.
Vincent Davis mentioned Saturday that there was a little bit more rhythm in the second half. From watching film, did you find anything in the second half that you were really encouraged by offensively?
Yeah, I mean, I think you get in a rhythm when you pick up first downs, right? You can start getting through your calls. You can mix up personnel. You can change the tempo. When you don't get the first down, it's always tough to get going, right? You just can't get going if your first two drives are three and out, right? And then we found a way to get going. Um, but yeah, it was too late. And then in the second half, I went on three scoring drives and then had one that stalled out, but four times going on drives and a half. You're going to, but we've got to be able to. The probably when we were in the disappointing series was the one after we got the onside kick. We've got to be able to. We got to go be able to make that. I think that we could have had an opportunity to make that a two-score game, and we weren't able to get that done and capture that momentum right there.
Last thing I had for you, coaches, is Paul Halen continues to be kind of a jack of all trades for you. You've probably had some NFL guys come through, scouts come through and talk to him or about him with you. What can you say about Paul's, future possibilities in this sport?
Yeah, no, he'll have some opportunities, especially with the new rule of international players having an opportunity on NFL rosters. And so yeah, I mean Paul does it all for us, so there's a lot on his plate. And so we'll keep leaning on him. I think he'll respond he had the one punt this week that wasn't up to the standard, but Paul's doing a really nice job, and because he does everything for us.